The 9th edition of the FIFA Women's World Cup came to a spectacular conclusion earlier this evening, crowning Spain as the world champions. The World Cup this time has set the benchmark for the women football, drawing immense laurels for the competitive edge witnessed in the tournament. The jam-packed stadiums in the host countries, Australia and New Zealand, and an unprecedented global television audience further highlighted the ever-growing popularity of women football. Good evening, I'm Abhyuday Shrestha and these are the headlines of the hour. The All-Party Meeting positive on ending House blockade. The government willing to form a committee that would not interfere with police investigations. Teachers and staff barred from carrying out political activities in the Kathmandu schools. Appointment of principals through open competition. Management committee of over 500 private schools scrapped. With no favorable atmosphere, some 40% shutters across the country remain shut. Businesses face the brunt of high inflation and lower demands. And 8 years since debut, Spain lift maiden FIFA Women's World Cup title. Crush England in the final at Stadium Australia. England wait for World Cup continues. The all-party meeting called by Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal today in an effort to end the obstruction at the Parliament ended inconclusively. After a consensus was not reached between the parties, the meeting of the House of Representatives was adjourned till 3 p.m. this Tuesday. However, leaders have claimed that the meeting of the leaders of the national parties representing in the Parliament have been optimistic in finding a middle path to resume the parliamentary proceedings. Although discussion was held at the meeting called at the Office of the Prime Minister and Council of Ministers at Singhdarbar today on finding the middle path, it failed to reach a conclusion. The political parties are preparing to find a way not to interfere with the police investigations and also to fulfill the demand of main opposition CPN-UML of forming a high-level investigation committee to probe into the recent gold smuggling scandal. However, the parties have failed to reach a conclusion on determining the jurisdiction of the high-level investigation committee to be formed. Leaders of various parties participating in the meeting also said that discussions were positive and were optimistic on reaching a conclusion in the next meeting. Chairperson of CPN-UML, KP Sharma Oli, did not participate in today's meeting. After consensus was not reached among the parties, the meeting of the House of Representatives, which was scheduled for today, was adjourned till this Tuesday at the request of Prime Minister Dahal. CPN-UML has been obstructing the sessions of the House of Representatives and the National Assembly since 26th of July last month, demanding for the formation of a high-level investigation committee to probe into the recent gold smuggling scandal. The Kathmandu metropolis has amended the Education Act by putting a ban on teachers and other staffers from indulging in political activities. The amended Education Act also has a provision of free competitions to select school principals. There are 2,200 teachers and other non-teaching staff at the 89 community schools of Kathmandu Metropolitan City. The metropolis decision comes in the wake of complaints that the involvement of teachers in politics has affected the teaching-learning environment. The amended act also has a provision to sack a teacher in case the teacher in question fails to perform the responsibilities. At the same time, the teaching faculties are also barred from working elsewhere during their school hours. The metropolis has also scrapped the ill practice of nominating school principals on the basis of contact and power rather than credentials. Meanwhile, along with the amendment of the Education Act, the Kathmandu metropolis has also scrapped the management committees of 89 community schools and as many as 504 private schools. The economic condition of the country that had slackened amid the corona pandemic is yet to revive completely. The market is now reeling under a high inflation and unstable bank interest rate on loan. There was a time when, amid hectic business atmosphere, the operators of various businesses in New Road's Vishal Bazaar would not even have proper time for food breaks. However, the scenario is drastically different as the area wears a deserted look, with many shutters pulled down and notices reading "To Let" being a common sight. Many of the businesses here have fled the market, while some are waiting for the upcoming Dasai season for a change in fortune. A study conducted by the Nepal National Trade Association 2 months ago had revealed that some 35 to 40% shutters across the country had remained closed. The figure in Kathmandu stands around 20%. Economists say that the 3 tiers of the government now needs to create employment opportunities and enhance productivity to keep the national economy floating. It may be recalled that there has been a price hike in all daily consumable goods and construction materials. Experts also say that the state should pay the due amount of 60 billion rupees to the contractor companies to activate the ailing economy. In our Public Voice segment, we had asked people in several provinces, why is there lack of business environment? Let's take a look at what they had to say.
मान्छेको सीमित तलबाट चाहिँ घर चलाउन सक्ने अवस्था छैन
मार्केटिङ गर्न पनि अब त्यति छैन आय स्रोतहरु छैन कमाइ धमाइ त्यति छैन
आर्थिक भ्रष्टाचार सुनियोजित ढंगले माथिल्लो तहबाटै भएको कारणले
आर्थिक मन्दी लागेछ व्यापार छैन हेर्नु जसरी नि घर भाडा तिर्नै पर्छ
कमाउने बाटोहरु पनि छैनन् त्यति धेरै आम्दानी भए पो त बजार पनि चलपल हुन्छ
बैंकले चाहिँ हाम्रो सारा चाहिँ अब लगानी बन्द गरेको जो परिस्थिति छ त्यसले गर्दाखेरि सारा चौपट छ
विकास खर्च समयमै हुन नसक्दा आम रूपमा दूरदराजमा रहेका मानिसहरुको हातमा पैसा पुग्न सकेको छैन र त्यसले गर्दाखेरि बजारमा पैसा आउन सकेको छैन
अहिले पैसाको अभाव छ
अस्थिर राजनीति पनि हो एउटा कुरो
कोभिडको कारणले गर्दाखेरि मन्दी लागेको छ
बैंकका ब्याज दरहरु बढ्दै जानु उत्पादनहरु नहुनु निर्यातजन्य वस्तु नहुनु आयात मात्रै हुनु
मजदुरहरुको आवाजात कम भएको भएर उनीहरुले काम नपाएको भएर नै मेन चाहिँ त्यही कारण नै हो
मान्छेसँग पैसै छैन
ठुलठुला व्यापारीहरुसँग मात्रै सीमित पैसा सीमित भएको कारणले पनि यो आर्थिक चलामान भइरहेको छैन
It's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
But before that, let's take a look at the results from yesterday's poll. Yesterday, we had asked you, why has the morale of share investors dwindled? 50% voted for A, effects of economic crisis, 24% voted for B, weak monetary policy, and 26% voted for C, lack of awareness among the investors. Here's today's question. What's your take on the government bodies themselves concealing information? Your options are A, breach of right to information, B, undemocratic practice, and C, lack of awareness. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B, or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. And it's time now for the international updates. Russia's Luna 25 spacecraft has crashed into the moon after spinning out of control. The unmanned craft was due to make a soft landing on the moon's south pole, but failed after encountering problems as it moved into its pre-landing orbit. It was Russia's first moon mission in almost 50 years. The spacecraft was scheduled to land tomorrow to explore a part of the moon which scientists think could hold frozen water and precious elements. Russia's state space corporation Roscosmos said this morning that it had lost contact with the Luna 25 after the apparatus moved into an unpredictable orbit and ceased to exist as a result of a collision with the surface of the moon. Russia has been racing to the moon's south pole against India, whose Chandrayaan-3 spacecraft is scheduled to land on the moon next week. No country has ever landed on the South Pole before, although both the US and China have landed softly on the moon's surface. US meteorologists have warned Hurricane Hillary has weakened as it heads towards Mexico's Pacific coast and California, but could still cause life-threatening flooding. With winds 140 kilometers per hour, it has been downgraded to a Category 1 storm. Heavy rain lashed parts of Mexico's Baja California Peninsula and the southwestern U.S. overnight. An official said one man died after being swept away while crossing a stream in Baja California. Hillary is expected to weaken further to a tropical storm before it reaches Southern California. It would be the first tropical storm to hit the U.S. state in more than 80 years. Hillary was earlier a powerful Category 3 storm with winds up to 130 miles per hour. Parts of Mexico are under a tropical storm watch, and its government has placed 18,000 soldiers on standby to assist in rescue efforts. It's time now for the sports news.
Sports news.
Spain have lifted the 9th edition of the FIFA Women's World Cup as they crushed England 1-0 in a clinical finish. Japan's Hinama Miyazawa has clinched the Golden Boot Award at the 9th FIFA Women's World Cup. Miyazawa scored the highest number of goals at 5 to be awarded the coveted Golden Boot trophy. Japan had crashed out from the quarterfinal as they were defeated by Sweden. The Fair Play Award also went to Japan, who had ironically beaten the eventual champions Spain 4-0 during the group stage. The Golden Ball Award went to Spanish midfielder Aitana Bonamti as she scored 2 goals and 2 assists. Meanwhile, English custodian Mary Earps, who also saved a spot kick in the final, was awarded with the Golden Gloves. Earps only conceded 4 goals in 7 World Cup matches. Likewise, Spain's Salma Parra was adjudged the best youth player as she had scored vital goals during the quarterfinal and semifinal. 19-year-old Salma had only debuted 10 months ago for the Spain's national team. Nepal have finished last among the 7 participating nations at the Asia Rugby Sevens. Nepal lost all the matches, failing to create any impact in the 2-day tournament. Nepal had lost to India, Malaysia and Hong Kong in the 3 matches played yesterday at Dasrat Stadium. Following their failure to qualify for the semi-finals, Nepal played the 6th place playoff against Uzbekistan, which they lost 19-22. Meanwhile, the men's final was clinched by Hong Kong, who defeated Malaysia 19-14. Malaysia finished second, followed by Chinese Taipei in the 3rd and Thailand in the 4th position. India finished 5th with a 47-0 victory over Uzbekistan. Meanwhile, Nepal's under-20 women team also finished the Asia Rugby 7 without a single win. The second leg matches played today at Dasrat Stadium. Nepal lost to Hong Kong, Malaysia and Thailand. In the last match today, Thailand defeated Nepal to become the champions. Hong Kong finished second behind Thailand, while Malaysia came third ahead of Nepal. That's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Good night.